And we're back, and we're continuing the hunt for the shrines. As last time we made, I think, quite a bit of progress. As we, found a lot of shrines I missed before, found new ways to go at them, and we're just continuing down the line. Skipping a few that I just did not know the solution to. But we're carrying on. And just because I was wanting to see if I could find it, but near the Gerudo Tower, last time we wrapped up with the Sand Seal race. But, not too far from Gerudo Tower, around where, the pathway to the Yiga hideout is, we got our next pedestal. Which, if you seek power untold, offer a shining blue stone. So, this was briefly mentioned in the, Austin John Plays video that I got a lot of these references from. But apparently you just have to load up with luminous stones. Okay, simple. Luminous stones around, I don't know if we needed one or... Either way, that works. Alright, a little over a minute and we already got progress. So he made that way more vague. Like, he kind of built it up as just sort of like, yeah, good luck with this one. You know, good luck, figure it out. Shodantu? Because you're that or a sapphire, so. Two bombs. Shodantu. Okay. 2 bombs. Well. Okay. Oh, I got it. Okay, I get it. Simple, but hold on. Silver rupee. No, the explosive radius of the bomb will hit everything inside there. Activate it. You got it. That one's not activating. Ah. Got it. Okay. Meanwhile, this one, we have to launch up. Yep. There you go. Got it. Alright, fun little puzzle. Again, just launching it and using the blast radius to our advantage. And, I'm sure, without even needing the giant explosive radius or the extended one from the Sheikah upgrades. Just gonna launch and see where we end up. Whee! Okay. Oh, got it, okay. That must get launched up there. Which then lifts this up. And we gotta set up both bombs at the same time to do it in sequence. Okay. Nope. Equip the other bomb, because you can have both bombs active at the same time. It just usually slips my mind. And that should land in the... Okay, that's a lighter bomb, so it flies farther when hit. Okay, we got it. Yeah. I don't think there was any hidden chest I missed, so there we have it. Alright, inside 5 minutes, got the first spirit orb for the next upgrade. We're gonna shoot for, you know, hopefully 8 in a video. So let's just see where we're at. Because, yeah, if we get the 8, that means we'll break 100. And then once we have that, you know, then it's down to the last 20. Sorry. Which, yeah. Alright, we got it. Alright, and there's some more in the Gerudo area. We're going to drop down here. Just breaking on a pause. Sorry, it's just like, I'm just focusing on just like, alright, we calculate this, we calculate this. Because, yeah. And the thing is, we still have so much more to do even after we do all this. Well, this is the most I've ever done. This is the longest I played, you know, longest playthrough I've had of Breath of the Wild. And we're doing, you know, way more in a significant shorter amount of time. We're only breaking over, you know, my last playthrough's current playtime. There's the shrine. Because, and that, you know, mainly because just like I'm actually doing more, I'm able to do more, and also my prior knowledge is also speeding that up, of course. But you know, it's led to some fun discoveries and such. But you know, it's just sort of like, okay, just like trying to fine-tune and pick these last couple of shrines is kind of grating. Because either most of them are so well hidden, or, you know, some of the challenges, like, you know, your mileage may vary, because you could run into, you know, Kanoa. Kano? Because you could run into very simple, or, you know, you could run into the boring shrines over and over again, or you could go on into, like, the cool, interesting ones. But, you know, I suppose no matter what angle you go from that, if you, say, like, hit a bunch of tests of mights way too frequently, and when you find, like, a puzzle shrine like this, it's just sort of like, ah, man, why wasn't there more of these in the game? Or if you happen to run across, you know, a lot of these cool shrines with, like, intricate physics puzzles, and then run into stuff that's just sort of like, and then run into stuff that's, like, just, like, yeah, it's like, oh, this is a cool physics puzzle. Let's see what the next shrine has in store for us. Oh, it's a test of might. Man, you know, seems like they were running out of ideas. You know, you can just, your mileage may vary, and that's just something that can happen. You know, kind of like, Elden Ring, you know, obviously inspired by this first, but, you know, Elden Ring kind of came across the one thing. Where it's just sort of like, you know, it's just like, oh, there's so much to explore, and, you know, there's, you know, something waiting across, like, every step, or, you know, certain areas, and then the more you play, it's just sort of like, okay, reuse boss again, I've seen this before, you know, it's just like, oh, I gotta, you know, or after doing, like, this dungeon, this repetitive dungeon, you know, it's just like, well, what's my reward? Oh, it's an item that's not, usable for my build, and that just can kind of happen when the scope of this gets so big. You know, it's something I wanted to touch on more, at the end of, you know, at the end of the Let's Play, because it's just sort of like a big summation. But, you know, it's just kind of like, you know, Breath of the Wild being this open, it redefined open worlds in a lot of ways. And, you know, you know, pretty much for the better. That's not what I'm disputing. And just, hold on. Oh, it's not connected. They're not connected. Whoops, too close. Okay, you just gotta move it a little bit so the shockwave, there we go. Finish the circuit. You know, like, well, when Breath of the Wild came out, that was like the pinnacle of just sort of like, you know, the Ubisoft sandbox, where it's just sort of like, towers, you know, repetitive missions, overwhelm your map with so much stuff, it kind of keeps, you know, just like, here's an ever-expanding checklist that just gets bigger and bigger the more you do, and the end is just, like, not in sight. And you could compare like the Korok seeds, this simple thing that stops being rewarding after a while, and with repetitive, challenges, you could equate to something like Assassin's Creed, which, I still like Assassin's Creed, but, not that I've touched it in a long time, especially considering, all the abuse that came out about Ubisoft, so that kind of made me bounce off even more. But it's like, there's still just like a place, there's still things that I think are enjoyable about Assassin's Creed, but yeah, they swelled up so much, they just got so boring, losing track of the narrative. Meanwhile, when this came out, this alongside Horizon Zero Dawn at the time, kind of reinvigorated what an open world could be, especially this, where, it's just like, it's just open, what's the goal? Explore and find out, or you know your goal. You have to defeat Ganon. How do you go about that? That's for you to decide, and you figure out how you're going to progress towards that by doing the main missions and getting special innate abilities that permanently stick with you, or find shrines and grow yourself, increasing your health to withstand more damage, or increasing your stamina to explore more efficiently. And by token of doing that, you find new gear that gets ever stronger. And by defeating certain enemy types and finishing certain milestones, the world gets more dangerous, but you find more powerful equipment. And, just how you interact with the world and everyone running around it. Speaking of Korok thing, but we're going to keep moving. It's just like there's so much to what Breath of the Wild opens up. And even, I've kind of fallen off on Horizon Zero Dawn. I loved it when I first played it, when it first came. Well, I got to it late, but when it came out, and I was way into it. Hey guys. Sorry, I'll continue my tangent in a bit. Not yet. Pump it up, brother! Oh, it's the 4th Goron Blood Brother. Oh, these guys from the Gut Check. The one who somehow beat our famous Gut Check. This is our ancestral training ground. Little man, sorry. We're smack in the middle of the contest of endurance. Feel the burn, brother. We're training to become even manlier Goron men, brother. Right now, we're competing to see who can beat the heat. So sweaty, brother. Of course, since you beat the Gut Check challenge, you'll want to try this, too. We're Gorons, but we can't really stand this extreme heat either. You guys are built for it. That's why we came here to train. After this, we'll be able to handle the extra heat in Goron City, no problem. Hey, I have an idea. Come join us. Yeah, come try the contest of endurance. Yeah. Good answer. So what is this? A guy like you has a burning passion in his belly. It's inspiring, brother. When you're ready, step up to this platform, then the contest of endurance will commence. Test of will. If you leave the ring or pass out, it's all over. You lose. Got it? Okay, now prepare yourself for the contest of endurance. Go! Are we just... Oh. This is literally just like an intense heat, but we got heat resistance because of our Vo armor. I ain't feeling it, man. Someone's waving. Boy, considering you're Gorons, you cannot handle what the Gerudo people put up with daily. Is that Grandpa? Piece of cake. Well then. You do not have enough endurance for any Gerudo woman to call you a man. You're amazing. I never would have thought the 3 Goron blood brothers could lose to you, brother. In fact, I'm granting you the highest honor, the chance to participate in the contest of ultimate endurance. It's where our ancestors trained. It's considered the toughest test known to Goron kind. The hotter hot plate. You see the ring behind me? The one surrounded in fire? Do you feel it in your gut? What a bad idea it is to go in there. Your gut is dead on, brother. That special training area is even harder than the last ring. This contest won't just challenge you with heat, but also with fire. If you lose your focus, your body will catch fire. Make sure you're prepared for this. It's said that passing this test will reveal a shrine or some such. If you think you're ready, climb into the ring. Do that and our special contest of ultimate endurance will begin. Huh? Is that heat-resistant gear you have there, brother? A real Goron man shouldn't have to rely on wussy stuff like that. Go on up and take the challenge without any help. I suppose. Test of will. Oh god, we just immediately catch fire. You're standing up there, which can only mean one thing. You're ready to push yourself to your limits. The rules of the contest, the ultimate endurance, are the same as ever. Leave the ring or faint, and it's over. Time for the world-famous contest of ultimate endurance. Go! I don't suppose I got... Oh, no, my... Oh, wait. I got an ice weapon. That might not help. I don't think my heat-resistant gear will help. We're just gonna stay on fire. You know what? Screw it. I don't need heat-resistant armor. I can do this. More heat, brother! Is Mipha's grace? I just want to die in front of them and just like, oh. Oh no, the bow! The bow! The bow! We got plenty of hearts to this, hold out on this, and then we also got healing in case we need it, which we're cutting it close. Hot like lava, brother! Okay, I'd say just like die, just stare them in the eye, and then die. But then get healed by Mipha. It's like, what are you doing? No, you know what? I can cook on here. You know what, how tough I am? I'm gonna, you know, cook meat while I'm doing this trial. That's how frickin' cool I am. So epic, brother! You're cooking, and you're not even bothered by it. Ah! What a powerful display. That fire was something else, brother. What fire? Sorry. How many hearts did that even go through? Just let me finish cooking. Alright, that was funny. Whoa, that's a shrine, or some such. It really appeared just like that. So the legend is true, brother. You won the contest of ultimate endurance, little man. You're amazing. Oh, I didn't... It's not done cooking yet. Have I not cooked seared gourmet steak? Whoop! Okay, I'm gonna stop being on fire now. Joluna. Okay, there we go. Anyways, continuing on my rant from earlier, you know, talking about open worlds. You know, even Horizon Zero Dawn, which I really liked at the time when I played it, which wasn't terribly long after it first came out. It was still within the parameter of 2017. But... Just spinning the controller in my hand. Electrify all of them. Alright. But, you know, when, you know, and it was even kind of funny, you know, despite, you know, two massive open world games like, Horizon Zero Dawn and this coming out at the same time, it didn't hurt either of them. Where it's like, people really enjoyed everything that they were doing. Okay, that must be something I need to. Is there another block? Sorry. But anyways, playing, when two big open world games released at the same time, people didn't get sick of either of them, you know? People would happily jump from Horizon Zero Dawn going to Breath of the Wild and still felt great doing it. You know, they just had that pull at the time. Whereas they were just seeing it just like, this is what open world stuff can be. And it was pretty good. But, Horizon especially is kind of like fallen off for me in recent years. Because I still don't like it, and there's a lot of good stuff to it. But, it does drag. It kind of does suffer in some cases from the older, or, the Assassin's Creed school of, open world design. It just refined things in a very interesting way. Well, refined. There were some still, go nowhere missions that just kind of, stopped. And then there were other things where it was just sort of yeah, I don't know, I feel like I'm being overly mean to it. I wonder if I can... I was hoping to... Nope. Must be something I'm missing. Oh wait, can I... No. Okay, anyways. No, sorry. Trying to figure this out. Because I feel like what I'm supposed to do... Oh, wait. If I just... It's like, well, how am I going to weigh down the other thing? I don't have to. Oh, shoot. Oh, wait. Okay, before I get ahead of myself, I better find out how to get to that chest real quick. Nope. How do I get on that? Okay. Shoot. Come on. Sorry, I'm trying to get this done, and then I'll continue my ramble. Come on. Not that I need that chest. It's probably a weapon I'm not going to use, but, just in case. Shoot. Oh, it angled in such a way where it's working. Whoops. I mean, that's cool. Finagled it in just an awkward way. There we go. A lot simpler than I expected. Golden Claymore, that's actually pretty good. What do I want to get rid of in the case? I mean, I got 2 Frost Blades. Okay, anyways. So, sorry. Continuing on just my ramble. But, it's like Horizon Zero Dawn, had going for it, like robo dinosaurs and, you know, more intricate gameplay than a lot of things we're doing at the time. You know, the same kind of feel to Breath of the Wild in some regard. Okay. Aha. Okay. I got an idea. It might not work, because then we're trapped here. Well, then again, we don't even need to spin it, because then we could just... Okay. We could stasis one, hold down the other. Oh, there we go. And there is our weight. Gerudo Spear. It's a good spear. Better than this one, I think. Let's find out. Doesn't matter. Actually, a little bit. Okay. Then we can stasis that spout. Shoot. Okay, it's like as long as we don't hit the... There we go. We got it. Anyways, Horizon Zero Dawn, sorry. You know, just like, there's a lot of stuff to like, you know, like the traversal is kind of cool, you know, the world is segmented. You know, it's like Ashley Birch, you know, does great performances, Aloy, but, you know, it's like, then, you know, it's just like, yeah, everyone kind of talks in a very similar way, the same stilted animations that really don't hold up that great. And then it's just like, it also gets repetitive and falls in that trap, you know, but not, the thing is, it also trimmed down on a lot of things that made those open worlds like too repetitive while still being big. You know, it's like there were only a handful of towers in the game, and they were, you know, kind of like parkour puzzles of, you know, trying to find the right timing while avoiding robo dinosaurs to jump on top of a, you know, to jump on a giant robot camel. Or, no, robot giraffe. Camel, what? Sorry, Von Noboris is right there. Giant robot giraffe, and then to, like, get a big view of this, you know, area. And then at least doing the side quest, just like, oh, you're finding more out about, like, this new culture and wondering, like, what happened to the world. And, you know, it's like, the story, at least, you know, the main story of Horizon is still really, really cool. You know, just kind of like piecing together. It's just like, well, what is Zero Dawn? What happened to this world where technology became like this? And then, you know, kind of digging into that is really cool. There are genuinely some really good, you know... That's the thing, though. Like, those big story beats show up way later than I remembered. And when you get there, it's really cool. But in the end, you know, it just can't, you know, even deliver on some of that with, you know, the final boss being a, you know, what at that point is just sort of like, not a basic enemy, but not a very, you know, an enemy you've seen enough where it's just like, it's not special fighting this, and now the final boss is just another one. So, you know, it's like, so it can kind of like end it on an anticlimax, even there. So it's just sort of like, Horizon I still like, but it's kind of been, you know, dropped down, for me personally in some ways. And the unfortunate thing about that, well, you know, I got a video still on this channel. I've been mulling to take it down, but, you know, it's like, it's up, it's my mess. But, you know, it's like, I did a top 5 games of 2017 list. What did that include again? It was like, no, Pyre. Sorry, it's been a while. Walking Dead, Last Frontier. Not in this order, I'm just thinking. It's just like, yeah, I thought this thing still got up. Hold on a second. I don't know if this counts. Guardian Stalker. I just might need pictures of these things. You know, I probably can switch gears. One more. I don't know, I think my timer was off there, but at least we had Daruk as like a backup. So, you know, that's kind of nice about protection. I suppose I, you know, took Daruk's protection for granted. I don't remember it being that useful, but turns out it is. So, you know, there you have it. Anyways, yeah, so like I have a top 5 games of 2017 list. What else was on it? It's been so long, you know, you think I'd remember. No, that's the 2018 list. But, you know, it's like, you know, I made a top 5, my list of my favorite games of that year. And, you know, it was just like, okay, we got to number 1. And for me, it was either going to be Breath of the Wild or Horizon Zero Dawn. And I kind of, you know, admittedly copped out and then chose both of them. And it's just sort of like, well, it's my list, so I could do whatever I want. And it's not like anyone ever watched that video. But, you know, it was still just sort of like, you know, it was just sort of like, you know, because for me, they kind of revitalized the open world genre in different ways. You know, Horizon, I thought, had a stronger narrative. Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong. Blink, put it away! I was trying to... They're blocking my path. Okay. Can't see it. Got you. Yeah, I'm trying to remember my 2017 list. Pyre, Walking Dead, basically Walking Dead Season 3. What else was there? God, I can't remember now. Bloodstained. Curse of the Moon was 2018 specifically, in which case that was also like Spider-Man, God of War, Death's Gambit. What was the other thing? Sorry, it's been a bit since you know, definitely since I made that video and since last I watched over it, because it's one of those old videos just sort of like, God, I was so talentless back then. Still talentless now, but then I tried harder. But, God, I'm trying to remember the games. But anyways, but I kind of copped out with, like, you know, for my favorite game of 2017 with Breath of the Wild and, you know, Horizon, which, you know, again, I say copped out as if it wasn't, like, you know, fair. You could look at it that way, but yeah, it was just kind of like me, you know, not wanting to choose and, you know, basically not pick a side between being a Sony fanboy at the time and then, you know, my love of Nintendo kind of being, in some ways, being revitalized by Breath of the Wild. As I mentioned way earlier, you know, earlier in this Let's Play, like, I kind of got burned by the Wii U because I liked the console. It was just really hard to use, considering my very specific situation of having a busted gamepad not long, you know, into it. And so it just restricted what games I could play. And then, but, you know, Breath of the Wild, which, you know, still had some of its restrictions, you know, was just such a, you know, breath of fresh air. Being just, like, such a different type of Zelda game, and then just, like, you know, putting adventuring and exploring, like, front and center. And Horizon Zero Dawn have, you know, the biggest problems I have with Breath of the Wild are the stealth mechanics, and the narrative is kind of weak. Like, there's a lot of cool underpinning stuff that I really enjoy, like Zelda and kind of her, you know, trying to figure out her place in the world, you know, the pressure of being, you know, basically the reincarnation of the goddess, and like, how do I go about, you know, how can I go about, you know, being part of my own fate? My destiny's been decided. How do you cope with that? And, you know, and that's when meeting Link is just sort of like, you know, oh, this guy's got it all figured out. Screw him, you know, is kind of how she approaches it. Read the Mountain Pink log. Log, find concerning the shrine that sleeps on the snowy Gerudo Peak. Day 1. When the snowy mountain pedestal glows, cast a cold shadow onto its core. I've lost count. I feel. But I've run out of food entirely. Okay, hopefully that guy didn't just die. Secret of the Snowy Peaks. Okay, cast a shadow, so it must be, you know, using, Cryonis. But at a certain time of day. There's the pedestal. So, like, icy shadow? No, I'm getting the zoom is too close. Okay, hold on. Or do we have to cast, you know, at the... Okay, at a particular time of day. So what do we got? So you go to Snowy Peak, on the diary left the Snowy Mountain pedestal glows, cast a cold shadow onto its core. Okay, so at a certain time of day. So we basically have to cast Cryonis at it. Well, okay, what time of day? Hold on. Secret of Snowy Peaks. You know, just looking into it real quick. It's like, okay, what time so I don't have to literally wait here for, you know, however damn long. Hold on, sorry. Where is it? Okay, so 4 o'clock, 4 a.m. or p.m.? It's got to be p.m. a.m. because, or p.m., I mean, Jesus. Okay. Where's the snowball that was here? It was getting cast on it, but I don't know if it was the right angle. Okay, let's take stock. So, let's just nap it out. Wait till noon. Yeah, sorry, like these specific missions where it's just like, wait till a certain time of day, and then it's just like, okay, biding my time, biding my time. So we're about noon, so how long is, you know, 4 hours of waiting? Then apparently... So then apparently, we have to, you know, put Cryonis into that pool, and that will cast a shadow from there. Or you can just hold a snowball up and, you know, at the edge of the cliff, and when the sun hits it, it should work. Oh, speaking of... Oh, I got... Maybe I didn't need to roll it. Snowball, wait! Snowball! Well, how long did that take? A little over an hour? Oh. I need more arrows. Stab you in the eye. I see Lizalfo's tail. I need more. I need to grab certain items. You know, I've kind of like bypassed a lot of enemy types, mainly redundant enemy types. Just to like, you know, cut down on, you know, just keep on exploring, but you know, I really am, you know, in need of certain pieces for upgrades and equipment. 2 more hours. Anyway, so yeah, as we're waiting for this to kick in, yeah, so, you know, it's just sort of like, you know, looking back, and it's just like, okay, if I had to choose between, you know, Horizon Zero Dawn and Breath of the Wild, it'd be Breath of the Wild, doubt. Because while there's still a lot I like about Horizon Zero Dawn, I guess you can say there's more that holds up about Breath of the Wild, at least for me. You know, again, its narrative is one of its weakest aspects, in my opinion, but, you know, there's still that contemplative stuff to chew on. Do not. No. Yes, yes. And now we just sit here for another hour. I'm sure his arms can handle that. But yeah, so there's just like more I think holds up about Breath of the Wild. And you know, that's what's fun about coming back to this. You know, just like, yeah, that sense of exploration, which you just don't get. And, you know, I think it says a lot where it's just like, you know, at least for me personally, where I don't really care, you know, despite the hype I had. And, you know, for Horizon Zero Dawn, it's just sort of like, oh, the hype I had, you know, as much as I talked up Horizon Zero Dawn, you know, in the comparisons to Breath of the Wild, but then, when the sequel for Horizon came out, I just didn't care. Come on. There we go. Okay. So we had it right. You know, it kind of looks like the shadow of the snowball spinning into its indentation. But, you know, Horizon Forbidden West came out, and I just don't care. You know, and that, you know, admittedly, Horizon has not been given the best draw. It did really well, considering it was a brand new IP when it released. And yeah, it was up against Breath of the Wild. But they both found room in order to succeed. Forbidden West, yeah, then had to come up against, you know, Suma-sama. You know, Horizon Zero Dawn came out when a popular franchise was redefining, you know, redefining open world sensibilities, you know, Breath of the Wild, you know, part of the Zelda franchise. And then Forbidden West happened to come out when Elden Ring did. You know, a popular franchise redefining itself with open world, you know, open world aesthetics, you know, Elden Ring to the Dark Souls and Bloodborne series. And, you know, and even compared to that, because, yeah, I suppose just like looking back on it, it's just like when Horizon Zero Dawn launched next to Breath of the Wild, you could play each one back to back and you would not feel tired about the open world setting, you know? You know, people really attached to both of them. Years later, when, yeah, Elden Ring and Horizon Forbidden West, you know, people did not latch on to Forbidden West. I'm not sure. I think it still did fine, but, you know, compared to Elden Ring, it got left in the dust. And, you know, what was it? It was Lanny Pator who kind of said something, you know, said this to this effect, said what I'm saying to that effect, where, yeah, he was talking on what was it? I think it was the podcast talk show, Talkcast Pod Show. Got it backwards. I'm sorry. Don't don't hurt me, Lynn. No, but like he said it on his talk cast, where I think it was, yeah, even the it was the Elden Ring episode he did with Jesse Nowacking, but talking about, like, yeah, he was trying to get into, you know, went from Elden Ring or from Forbidden West, and then just got, or no, he went from Forbidden West and plowed through in order to get to Ishtoso, in order to get to Elden Ring when it came out, and he found, you know, and he, as I recall, he liked Forbidden West, but he wasn't blown away by it, and was worried that, like, playing a second open world game back-to-back is probably going to really dampen Elden Ring, and then he just liked Elden Ring way more. You know, to the point where, yeah, he kind of felt worse about Forbidden West. And that kind of seems to be how everyone felt. Because I think I said this earlier, where Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn redefined, you know, open worlds in a lot of way at the time. But Forbidden West happened to become, you know, the example of for the worse. It kind of became the benchmark for lazy open world, ironically. And that was more of, you know, and that was more the fault of, I do not have enough arrows. And that was more the of, you know, publishers kind of like taking Horizon as a, like, an example, and how do I put it? I'm trying to think of examples, but, you know, I kind of just stopped playing open world games, you know, or at least played them a lot less after, you know, after that. Ancient Core. Where, you know, it's like, you know, open world games after that point, even like Assassin's Creed, changed tune. What am I supposed to do with that? Sorry, as I'm rambling, I'm trying to remember. It's like, what was this shrine called? Say, why is this even here? It's not like... Oh, there it goes. Oh. Oh, okay. I get it now. Alright, sorry. Took me a second. I'm just like, what is this nonsense? Boom! There we go. Gotta get back into position. But anyways, so, you know, there came the divide where it's just so, like, you know, open worlds were compared to, you know, Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn. However, Horizon Zero Dawn ended up becoming the, you know, the derivative form of the open world. Meanwhile, Breath of the Wild, opposite. You know, it put more emphasis on kind of minimal storytelling and, you know, grand worlds all about the discovery, you know, i.e. Why did I go up here? You know, and minimal storytelling, kind of what Dark Souls was known for, and what Elden Ring excelled at. You know, with taking out, well, with Elden Ring specifically taking out kind of more of, like, the record-keeping, if you will. You know, so it's just sort of like, you know, how do you find a quest? You just gotta remember. You know, taking that Dark Souls, like, you know, vague NPC questline stuff, which hit and miss, but, you know, it's just like, it's its thing. for better and for worse. But, you know, and Elden Ring just had, like, the same feel as Breath of the Wild. Just sort of like that exploration where it's like you could see something cool, you know, pretty much from wherever you are, and the map just like kept expanding and expanding while having like that Dark Souls feel, just sort of like tough boss fights, you know, the world building about like, you know, the dead world that you gotta, you know, put the pieces together yourself. You know, if they're not important to your character, they're important to you as a player, kind of piecing together, like, what happened to the world and why it's the way it is. But anyways, and so just like other games that tried copying Breath of the Wild style, you know, putting so much emphasis on exploration while, you know, I suppose I'll talk to you. What's up? What are you doing? That's no way to treat meat. Huh? Who are you? Who are you? My name is Moza. I'm trying to perfect my ultimate dish. I'm trained in isolation right now. Smoke signal? Oh, you mean this smoke? This is not a smoke signal. As you can plainly see, I'm in the middle of cooking. It's burning. Badly. I'm burning it? So then you're saying I've messed it up? I see. For some reason, no matter how hard I try to cook something wonderful, it always turns out badly. I thought of this ultimate recipe myself, too. Why is this happening? What do you got? I don't mind it. Oh, I would love to. I don't mind at all. I'm sure you'll be able to cook something really tasty. I mean, probably. Lavish meat dish. An ancient meat dish. An ultimate survival dish. Which would you like to learn? Oh, okay. Lavish meat. First, prepare the meat you want. Recommend either bird meat or steak. Toss in some nice, fresh, or... What? Yeah, hey, that's not nice. Meat with shiny ore is the only way. How else would one create a truly lavish meat dish? Silly. To be honest, I was always ended up making his rock-hard food. How did it even get that rocky anyway? Even when I use ingredients I'm certain will be perfect, there are a lot of times I still mess it up. Cooking is complicated. Okay, I'm following you. Let me guess, ancient meat dish, put in a gear. That's something from a Broken Guardian. An ancient part. That's not nice. Cooking delicious meat with something that smacks of history is the only way. How else would you create an ancient meat dish that the likes of which no one has ever seen before? To be honest, what I've always ended up is making dubious food, though I don't see what's so dubious about it. When I use ingredients I'm certain will be perfect, there are a lot of times I still mess it up. Cooking is complicated. Ultimate survival dish? Okay, first you have to feed a monster. After that, find yourself cooking a pot and toss in tons of monster parts. In order to survive out in the wild, you need to be willing to eat anything. That's the idea behind my ultimate survival dish. I may end up with nothing but dubious food. Okay. I'm good. Oh, that's too bad. It was a pretty special recipe, too. Can I... No touchy my cooking pot. Very sweat on your hands could ruin the salt balance. Okay, well, I'm curious to see if her practicality works. Like, if we mix in meat and ore, do we actually get, like, the Goron rock meat? Which was one of the best scenes in Age of Calamity, where, Daruk just, like, try my, special rock roast, and Link just nods, mouth opens wide as he just chomps down onto it, while, Impa and Zelda look on in horror. It is one of the best things in that game. Anyways. So next time we find a cooking pot, we'll have to try something weird. But anyways. Where was I? You know, talking about Elden Ring, I think. Where... Yeah, it's just sort of like... You know, what Elden Ring was able to achieve, you know, just recently, actually, yeah, wasn't it today, as recording, 28th of February, well, you know, not too long ago, we got the announcement that it's just sort of like, Elden Ring sold 20 million copies, which, you know, is pretty extraordinary considering it's a Souls-like, which for a while was considered a very kind of like niche, you know, a popular, but ultimately still niche franchise. You know, it's like, you know, isn't it obvious as I'm talking it up? You know, the Souls games are some of my favorite games of all time. Or, you know, one of my favorite franchises ever, and Bloodborne is one of the, you know, my favorite games of all time. Meanwhile, you know, it's just like, but, you know, people got turned off on it because just like it's talked up as like being way too difficult for any normies, which, you know, obviously drove people away because if you're treating people like that, you know, they think you're a dick. And when really, you know, well, Dark Souls has never been, like, super accessible as a series, but there are ways, you know, there are ways to, like, learn its intricacies to, you know, make it not so reaction heavy and to, you know, make yourself more powerful and finding workarounds to, like, beating the, you know, intricate bosses. But, you know, it's like, that's also research and time, and that's just sort of like, eh. And also, like, especially... especially early on, where it's just, like, the vagueness of the first couple of games can really not be helpful in figuring out, like, what do you actually need to do, in terms of just, like, how do you actually play the game, besides just, like, the basic control method, which isn't super helpful, because there's... so smooth and ancient. Your skin is so smooth and gorgeous, my little Roscoe. Someone's watching us? She looks like Rise from, Persona 4. Oh, my sweet Roscoe. You're so shy, aren't you? Yes, you are. Why not proudly show off your beaming beauty, my darling? You really must come out of your shell. The person watching you looks like he wants something? Maybe he's... he's after you. I misread that. Don't worry, my sweet Roscoe. I would never, ever let you go. I'm head over heels for my special friend who's been around since ancient times. You're so ancient and special, Roscoe. Yes, you are. Sorry, my sweet Roscoe, but I fibbed a little. The truth is, I want to see guardians. Flying ones, small ones, ones that walk around. I want to see all the guardians in the world. Not the ones around here that have rusted away either. I want to see fresh and lively guardians. If I ever do see them, I may just leave you, my friend. Oh, but don't you... Getting near a guardian is too dangerous for me. Flying ones, small ones, ones that walk. I'm afraid seeing guardians like this is nothing more than a dream within a dream for me. Well, I can do those things. I remember, yeah, in the video I was watching, it did talk about, yeah, you need pictures of guardians, in order to get, you know, in order to finish it. But I only got a small guardian picture, and I gotta find ones that aren't rusted. Well, I know where to look. If I go near Hyrule Castle, which we could do pretty easily, because I have an excuse to go that direction, for another shrine. But for now... we'll go up. Anyways, Dark Souls. You know, Dark Souls was never really accessible as a series, especially like the first game where it's like weapon crafting could ruin your favorite weapon. Like, it was not user-friendly. It wasn't until like Dark Souls 3, really, where, you know, you could get more experimental. Well, even before that, where Bloodborne had like the blood gem mechanic, where you can slot in different abilities that either will add an elemental effect or, you know, increase the abilities of your weapon without having to, you know, without leveling it. There was still a level cap, and, you know, depending on your resources, you couldn't diversify that much, but you could still get a lot, you know, it was still more versatile. And then Dark Souls 3, which, you know, also put more emphasis on, you know, crafting, so you could experiment more with weapon types and changing an element, with it not being Yanaga, without it being too detrimental to swap it out, and there were resources to, like, add different swap out elements, or, you know, reform the original version of the weapon you had. But meanwhile, Elden Ring just kind of, like, streamlined all of that, where, like, experimentation is shatter the heavens. I see. Okay. But, you know, where experimentation was way more viable, and, to the point it cost you just nothing. Hold on. Okay, I'm guessing we just gotta, like, stasis it, maybe, and then just, like, you know, put a lot of energy into it. Well, actually... shoot. Why don't I put the bomb in first? Because then what we can do is that we can take... I didn't equip the right thing. Put it back in. Then hit it with that to change the... No? Oh, wait, I'm thinking about this completely wrong. What the hell am I doing? No, we don't need to do either of those things. What we need to do, round bomb in here. Square bomb on here. Duh. Because we can put 2 bombs out at the same time. Blow it up. Boom. And then we do the same thing and launch ourselves up. Jesus, what am I thinking? Anyways, Elden Ring was just more friendly with experimentation, where if, like, you could just swap out elements and, you know, special abilities on all your weapons without hassle. I want to see what's in that chest. Okay. And, you know, without hassle. And so there's just, like, so much more customization to your weapons. Like, do you like the element you got, or are you changing up your build and you want to add, like, you know, make intelligence the main stacking part ability for your, you know, your great sword or whatever? Just do it. A full blade. No, not get rid of that. I suppose we had to get rid of something. But, you know, it's just like, Elden Ring just was, like, so much more accessible. And, you know, also kind of with, like, Dark Souls and Souls-likes being around for so long, people were kind of more acclimated to them. Or, you know, were more willing to accept them, I think. And, you know, Elden Ring took that into account, you know, trying to get in new players. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of people, you know, gravitated towards it just on the, you know, solely on the, you know, the mention that George R.R. Martin was part of, you know, development in some way. I think mostly just writing. But I'm sure that won over a lot of people, where it's just sort of like, oh, George R., you know, was involved in a video game? I gotta check that out. And, whoops, bumped my desk. But, you know, I'm sure a lot of people, you know, checked out Elden Ring solely on that, too. On top of that, let's see. Okay, I think we're gonna go... Okay, yeah, here's my... Yeah, if we do that... No, okay, no, we go here instead. I got an idea. But, you know, a lot of people checked out Elden Ring, I'm sure, solely on that. And then meanwhile, you know, just at that point, you know, at that point, there was just, like, an influx of, like, you know, Souls fans that were actual fans and wanted people to experience the thing they liked. And so the gatekeeping, you know, was just, like, heavily pushed away, you know, at least from what I could see. And so it was like a lot of more encouragement of just sort of like, no, you can do this. Anyone can do this, and we're here to help. And, you know, Elden Ring with its also, like, own mechanics built in, with things like the Spirit Ashes, where you get, like, a companion that does not, like in other Souls games, increase the health of the boss when you summon in help. Or, yeah. It was just way easier for, you know, people new to Souls games entirely to get into it, which was a good thing. Meanwhile, do I still have Korok leaf? Okay, for some reason I still thought I had a Korok leaf. Because I see that orange pinwheel, and I think I need to spin that with a leaf, but, you know. Anyways. Apparently I got spotted. Well, I was going to switch to climbing gear, but... What saw me? Whoops! Okay. Now I gotta find a walking guardian, and then we just have the pictures. I'm pretty sure there was one also around here. Yep, there we have it. Yeah, replace picture. You know, I think we're good there. You know, we'll get her even in an even better picture. We're in danger. Later. No. Put the camera away, Link. Yeah, I want to go this way. Nope. Okay. So... Yeah, that didn't work out quite as well as I expected, but that's fine. I would have, or I should have. Okay. Okay, I was just like, wait, is a blood moon happening right now? All right, this is the closest we've gotten to the... We haven't engaged this cutscene yet. Link, hurry the hell up! But yeah, approaching the castle again, it's just like, what the hell is that? And just like the miasma of being near here. So apparently, well, now we're... Because, like, the shrine is on the other side of the island, but we're supposed to come at it from a certain way, and I'm guessing this is the opening. Anyway, sorry. I'm bouncing all over topics just because, like, things are progressing, and then I'm also just sort of, like, you know, trying to find my thoughts. But, you know, Elden Ring had, like, was very accessible, and, you know, even I changed my tune, you know, talking to friends about it, where, you know, just sort of, like... You know, going to friends that I would tell just like, oh yeah, Dark Souls is brutal, you know... Not saying I don't think they can handle it, but, you know, just sort of like, I don't know, they're not really your style, which, you know, they weren't, honestly, in some regard, for some of them. But, you know, I try to be very encouraging, but, you know, after many years of basically being told, you know, being told that by me, or given the impression by me, of just like, oh, it's so difficult and crazy, it's just like, yeah, I don't think that's for me, and, like, that's, you know, but I think, sorry, but I think Elden Ring won over a lot of people who would say, you know, Dark Souls isn't for me, and made it for them, you know? And so it's like, that's good, and, you know, I really, you know, I want to get my friend to play Elden Ring, but it's just sort of like, well, I bought it digitally, so I can't borrow it to him, so he can at least test it, and then also... Nope, we're on the same side of the castle. Right? Yes, that's the front of the castle. Whee! So, I want to find this shrine. I needed arrows. Oh, okay. Well. Topaz. Skelenox. I mean, we're in for it now. Nope. Whoop, thanks, Mifa. I didn't even know I had that recovered. Oh, I'm also wearing gear that's not good for this. Royal Halberd. There's a plaque here. Oh, Hylian Shield! Shield passed down from Amelia. Sweet! I completely forgot that was in here. I didn't even know. Okay. Test the Royal Guard. Strike down the giant foe to become recognized as the Knight of the Kingdom. Okay, cool. Wow, that was very simple. But yeah, we got the Hylian Shield. The best shield in the game. I better not use it. Just so it doesn't break. Anyways. Okay. So that was a welcome surprise. That wasn't what I was here for, but that's what we found. Where the hell is... Ow. Maybe this wasn't the way. Or do I have to go farther? No, 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 no. I'm bumping around. I lost track of where I was even going. Maybe I'm in the wrong spot. Because I wanted to do a whole thing where we infiltrate the castle and then, like, you know, head in, find some really good gear at some point, and mainly kind of as a taunt. Just sort of like, I'm coming for you, Ganon. And then come back when we had the Master Sword. But, you know, we'll get there. Because really, getting into the castle, you know, not too bad. I kind of stumbled into, like, the, you know, the final battle, the first time I played. Is this... Bye. Oh, right, he can swim. I actually remember this layout from Hyrule, or Age of Calamity. Nope, that was close. There, okay. I was wondering, it's just like, well, they got a giant fire sword, you know, in a spot. Okay, this turned out to be the right place. And, you know, just the giant flaming basin, that just feels like it's important. No, they literally have, like, a flaming sword on a pedestal across from here, just sort of like, hey, check it. Saskosa. Anyways. So, yeah, sorry, rambling about, like, Elden Ring and everything. You know, but it's just sort of like, I don't even remember what got me started on that, but, like, you know, making the comparison in the first place. Sorry. Major test of strength. Okay, well, no big deal. What do we want to lead in with? Suppose Royal Claymore, it's the biggest thing we got. Might as well top off our health. Just on the, to be safe. Still got stasis. I mean, we already got a picture of a regular Guardian, but Guardian Scout 4, okay. Well, when she says little Guardian, she's got to mean those. Hey, check it! I got 2 giant thunder blades. Whoops. Sorry. I'm not even going to give you the satisfaction of unleashing your I-beam. Get rid of that so we can pick up all the good stuff he just dropped. Sorry. I mean, I already got another Flameberg, so let's just get rid of that one. Spear. Okay, anyways. But yeah, just sort of like, you know, talking about open world games and how they kind of changed, you know, and with Tears of the Kingdom, you know, all goes right. That's just going to be Breath of the Wild, but even bigger. So, you know, it's just going to be Breath of the Wild, but it's refined even more. So that's going to be very fun to see how it completely or totally plays out. You know, and again, biggest things I'm hoping for. Improvement to stealth, because that's something, you know, Elden Ring actually got very right, was having, you know, pretty good stealth mechanics, considering, you know, that was not the main focus. It wasn't Sekiro, but it had good enough stealth mechanics to account for the open world, to sneak in, kind of like in Sekiro, take out enemies, you know, systematically, or get in, like, big hits of damage into bigger guys. You know, it was actually very nice and cool to pull off. Yeah, one more shrine, and there we go. Which, I guess we'll just go back to that lady and see if she'll look at our pictures. Should be everything she's looking for. But yeah, but anyways, so I'm kind of hoping, you know, it's probably not going to be like it, but I'm hoping we get, oh right, we can just leave area. It's like, well, how do we get out of here now? We can just leave. We could explore the castle some more, because I kind of want to do that before the end of the game, but also not in the last episode, where we, you know, go through the castle, get trapped by, or, you know, run up against some, guardians, because, or, you know, find some good equipment that we're probably not going to need, because the Master Sword will probably carry, but, you know, it'd still be good to find stuff like Zelda's diary and such, but, yeah, you know, nope. Okay, so she's over here. I'm just mulling over. It's like, what is closest? Technically this, but I suppose we gotta finagle a few things. We shall find out. So, you know, that's kind of like the two biggest things I'm hoping for. Is just sort of like, you know, better stealth mechanics, stronger narrative. Because, like I said, there's a lot of cool underlying stuff, you know, in Breath of the Wild. That's fine, you know. But I just kind of like, you know, wish we had a bit more. You know, like more interactions. Because that's kind of the thing about, you know, setting the game, you know, during this the way it has. You know, it is, you know, post-apocalyptic, really. You know, there are very few people around. You know, the important characters are already dead, and, you know, unlike other Zelda games, like Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, you know, you don't have a companion that's with you the entire time, you know, giving feedback, or talking about things that have happened, or giving you ideas on where to go. But that's just kind of not what this was, you know? Because it's like, it's meant to just like immerse you into the world by leaving you to your own devices and leaving you by yourself to just explore whatever you want without anyone telling you, you know, what you should or shouldn't do. You know, the closest you get is like the occasional, you know, stopping to remind you when you come into like a new, you know, a new major town for some of the various races, to go just sort of like, hey, there is a machine here to stop. And I've heard complaints about that, just like, oh, it takes you out of the world, but it's like, it's reminding you of the main mission, which is the goal, you know? And a goal you can ignore so long as you're ready to put up with the consequences of ignoring it, by making a harder final boss fight and missing out on a very, you know, special ability that you don't need, but would make a big difference in, you know, changing how you approach the world. And, you know, just sort of like, and again, you're meant to be left for yourself. But, you know, I do miss, like, you know, want to interact with more people that are, you know, more important and not just like a single stereotype like, or, you know, archetype like her. Don't worry. Someone speaking? You'll show me? A guardian? Hey you, could you please not bother my Roscoe and me? Oh my god, it's not like you can show me a guardian or anything. She's up. That image, that's a flying guardian. Wow, I feel alive with terror just gazing at its beautiful form. The small guardian, oh, it looks so vicious for its tiny size. Adorable. Her eyes are so droopy. Hold on, if you've... A walking guardian? I can't believe it. Nothing could be more dangerous than dangerous. Whatever. That's the picture? Okay, whatever. What a joy. Hey, you, give me that box, okay? I want to look at those images every single day. I can't do that. You can't? I see. How unfortunate. I guess I have just to burn those images into my imagination. Can I have that orb? Hmm? Oh, you mean Roscoe? Sure. That weird spear thing is all yours, really. I'm over it. Yeah, I'm all about guardians now. If I close my eyes, I can see them in my imagination. It's glorious. Yeah, here, pro tip, walk anywhere near the castle. You'll find some. Maybe they'll find you too. There's actually a guardian, fully functional guardian, not too far that way, and she's gone. But, you know, just kind of like, you know, I'm hoping we get to interact with more characters, you know, in a more meaningful way, you know, consistently in Tears of the Kingdom as well. You know, kind of my thought, or, you know, my assumption based on, like, some of the stuff we've seen in the trailers, you know, I'm thinking Zelda or Soka Tatone. You know, my idea or my impression is that Zelda is going to be our companion that follows us throughout the game. You know, Zelda is going to be our fairy in Tears of the Kingdom. And just the impression I get from that is just sort of like, well, you know, Zelda's got to have a more important role. Modest test of strength. There was a guardian right next to her and she didn't even know. I don't want to use my guardian weapon. We can use the golden claymore. But, you know, Zelda's got to get more time. You can really see her, like, in action. You know, she's, let's see. And, you know, I say in action, but that's more just sort of like, you know, if we can interact with her more than these, like, you know, because, again, it makes sense in the context of the game, where it's like Link does not know who this person is. Let's see if this can... Link does not know who this person is, like he is trying to regain his memory. You know, his mind, you know, we're learning as he does about, like, the world that got destroyed, the people that were in it, and you know, what everyone's place in, you know, fighting in that world is like. So, you know, it's like we're learning about this Zelda kind of the same way Link is in remembering, you know, things that they did together and how they interacted with each other. But, you know, it's setting up the context. But now that we've got that context, I'm hoping that we can now spend more time with her, engaging with her with that context we have. You know, and, you know, another thing I've said before is just sort of like, you know, I'm also not too big on, you know, Calamity Ganon either. Because mainly... he's kind of a nothing entity in this one, which is weird, considering he is literally the apocalypse surrounding us that, you know, kickstarted everything that's going badly. But what I mean is, it's just sort of like, you know, we don't get any personality out of him, unlike, you know, other iterations of him, like in, you know, from what I've seen of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, where, you know, in this case, he's literally just like a fog of anger, which we don't get to interact with. And, you know, and the most we see of him is in the Blights, you know, his minions that killed the interesting characters that, you know, aren't really much of a challenge because they're all kind of like baseline, the same difficulty. It's just when you approach them with what equipment or what inventory you have, you know. But in the end, they're all just kind of like you know, a copy-paste with a few thematic abilities that don't really, you know, make a big difference. It doesn't make them harder, it just makes them different from each other. And, you know, and like, that's just a me thing, where it's just sort of like, yeah, I understand the concept of Calamity Ganon, which is just like a hyper-literal, you know, embodiment of that rage and destruction, you know, or timeline manner, where it's just sort of like, this is Ganon's essence, you know, completely derived from, or deprived of a body, because why does he need that anymore when he's just like a roiling mass of destruction? But, you know, as a Tears of the Kingdom, he does have a body, so it seems like. And, you know, if what we're thinking, where Ganon's going to be voiced by, or Ganondorf is going to be voiced by Matt Mercer, you know, I hope we get to interact with him more. Like, him showing up every once in a while is like a, you know, like a skill check in certain regards. And, you know, getting to hear him talk more. Because that's what I like about, you know, that's something I do like about this, is that people have voices now, you know? There's voice cutscenes, voice acting, and I like that. You know, it does just add this extra dimension to the characters, and I like all the performances. People like to complain about Zelda for whatever reason, because she's adorable, and the voice totally fits her inquisitive nature, you know, inquisitive yet rebellious nature, by being so, you know, kind of posh. But, you know, and that kind of goes on to another thing, I kind of want Link to have a voice too. Because, you know, he does speak, he just doesn't speak out loud. And, you know, not like we need him talking or, you know, giving commentary about everything he's doing at every step of the way. Or, you know, to hear him voice, you know, his every little thought or voicing conversation. But I want to hear him speak, you know, at pivotal moments. We gotta have a, you know, like right at the end, facing off with Ganondorf, and where he just like speaks for the first time, and it'll just like in the, like, you know, pinnacle of the climax, you know? That's kind of what I want for him. Oh wait, real quick, I want to try something. No. Let's try that girl's dishes. Let's not throw a diamond in there. And we got an amber. Rock hard food. Dish gone awry after adding the wrong ingredients. Chewing your way through it won't be fun, but it will fill you up when you're between rock and a hard place. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's go to the extreme. The most expensive meat, the biggest meat we got, in 2 diamonds. This will turn out great. Aww. I suppose that's what I get. Alright, let's try an ancient core. Dubious food. You know what? That girl's cooking advice might not be the best idea. Okay. Just butts of guts and organs. It's worth a shot. Okay, I figured none of her advice would work, but we tried it and it failed. We can't say we didn't try, because we clearly failed. Okay, so yeah, sorry, rambling all over the place, but I hope a lot of my points are coming across. It's a lot of stuff I'm probably going to echo, probably in quicker succession in the lead up to the finale, but we'll get there. But yeah, I got more to say, but we'll wrap up here for right now. Next time we continuing the hunt. So, until next time, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, like and subscribe and all that. This is Timmara, signing off.